Hey guys, welcome back. Are you struggling with just like too much stuff in your life? Do you have too much clutter in your home? I am the same, and I am really learning a lot about minimalism. I wanted to share some things today. Full disclosure, I am not a minimalist, but I am working towards living a more minimal life. And I have some good tips and tricks today that I'm going to share that I think will really help you, and I know that they've helped me. Okay, so my first tip is instead of going into decluttering or getting rid of some of your things and thinking, what do I want to get rid of? Shift your mindset and instead think about, what do I want to keep? I think that this is game changing, and it's just a really good way to look at all of the things you own. And instead of saying negatively, like, I'm getting rid of this, make it a positive thing and think, what do I want to keep? What in this room do I love and do I use on a regular basis? I think this is more productive. I think it's maybe like a little bit less depressing, and it just is a really good way to sort of look at all of the things you own and make a decision about what you love and what you want to keep. Kind of like the idea of like positive reinforcement. Okay, this next hack is one of my favorite things to do, and it actually has a name. It's called temptation bundling. The idea here is you pair something that you don't like to do, then you pair it with something that you consider an indulgence. So just to give you some examples, I used to know a lady who hated cleaning. The way that she got her cleaning done is she would get all her cleaning products ready, and she would get ready to start cleaning, and she would have a glass of wine while she was cleaning because she hated cleaning, but she enjoyed a glass of wine. And so that's a perfect example of this temptation bundling. And a lot of people do this already, and maybe you do as well, but think of when you're decluttering, maybe you can listen to some music. Maybe when you're organizing your kitchen, you can listen to a podcast. Or while you're folding laundry, go ahead and throw up Netflix. I think that temptation bundling is like, make something that's less enjoyable, it makes it more enjoyable, and it makes you more apt to follow through. Okay, so I've talked before a lot about the maybe box, and this is when you're getting rid of your items and you're not sure if you actually want to get rid of them, so you put them in this box and then you leave them to sit for a little while, and then you make a decision later to see if you've actually used them. So that's where kind of this tip comes in, and I'm just going to call it like the 6-month challenge. And essentially what you're going to do is, while you're going through this process of choosing the things that you want to keep, put the things that you haven't chosen into this box, leave it for 6 months, put a lot of things in there, things that you just didn't choose to keep, and see if in 6 months you actually went back to that box. See if you needed anything, see if you used anything, and if you didn't, you can safely go ahead and get rid of all of those items. The next hack is to embrace the idea that you don't need new items. Rather, you can enjoy what you already have over and over. It's a little bit of a mindset shift, because I know buying things and getting new things is really exciting, but I think that there's a lot to be said for enjoying what you already own. In fact, I bet you already do this already. I know when I come home and I'm done for the day, I put on my favorite home clothes or my favorite pajamas, and it's always the same thing, and I love wearing them. Even though it's the same thing, I wouldn't wear them probably like outside of the house, but I really enjoy just wearing that same pair of pajamas. And it's okay. It reminds me of this time. I used to work with this woman, and she had 5 work outfits, and she would wear them Monday through Friday. And I always just noticed this, every Monday she had on the same outfit, every Tuesday, and it was always the same 5 that she just rotated through. At first, I thought it was a little strange, but then I came to realize it was actually quite genius. She was spending less money on clothing than probably most other people in the office were. She didn't have decision fatigue because she already knew what she was going to be wearing every day, and it was already planned out for her. It's less wasteful, it's less stressful. I think it's a great idea. Kind of the same thing. My 2 older kids wear uniforms to school, and I love it. It just makes our mornings so much smoother, so much easier. Nobody's running around deciding what they need to wear. They already know. It's already planned out. So try to think of that. Try to think of like what your uniform could be, and try to embrace the sameness. Okay, my next hack is about corralling your items. And I've given this tip before kind of in the context of cleaning. You can easily corral things and then move it easily so you can clean around it. The other reason why I think corralling is so great is because you kind of have this set amount of space where you can keep your items. And once it gets full, you know, okay, I cannot fill this area up anymore, or maybe it's time to declutter this area. I also think it just looks a lot tidier to have all of your items corralled in either like a basket or on a plate. I saw this thing once that the reason why it looks tidier is you're kind of taking many items, like all of the items that are sitting on the plate and would have been just sitting on your counter, you're kind of taking that many and you're reducing it to one, and it's like one plate with just some things on it, but it looks like one to your eye, so it's almost reducing that visual clutter to your eyes. The reason this hack works so well is that the container that you choose has a limited size, so it kind of forces you to stay within those boundaries. And my next tip is about paper clutter, and I will link a video because I have a whole entire video about paper clutter that can really just like take on a life of its own. But for today, the one hack I have is to have a bin for paper that requires action. Essentially, it's paper that you need to do something with in the short term. That could be maybe some bills that you need to pay, maybe it's a magazine that's come in that you want to read. You know, maybe you've just gotten a catalog in the mail and you want to take a look, but you don't have time now. You've got this bin for paper that needs action. I just think that it really reduces on the paper clutter. And then you can make a plan to go through it every week, or maybe once it gets full, and it's just paper that you're eventually gonna throw away after you've taken that action. My next tip is about seasonal transitions. So I like to see each season as an opportunity to declutter. Once a season has ended, it's just a fresh way to look at your clutter and the things that you've got in your home. For example, after the holidays are over, after Christmas has ended, I use that as a good time to declutter my ornaments, declutter my decorations. After summer has ended, I use that as a time to declutter, you know, sunblock and bathing suits and things that we don't need or things that are worn out. This kind of helps you go through items several times a year. And if you live in a place where there aren't really any seasons, you know, you could use the holidays as a cue. Just something as like a seasonal cue so that you know, good reminder for you to do something and act on your clutter. This way, if you're going through things several times a year, you're kind of gradually downsizing, gradually getting towards that minimalist lifestyle. And speaking of that minimalist lifestyle, so my last tip, I cannot do this whole video and not talk about it, but it's to control what's coming into your home. So when you're out, don't pick up things, don't bring things home unless you truly need them. I have a very simple way that I do this. Just two things. If I'm in a store, I walk away. If I'm in a store and I want to buy something, I walk away from it, and maybe I'll come back to it later, maybe I won't. The way that I know if I truly want something is if I've been thinking about that thing later, then I know I wanted it, so I, in some cases, will go back and get it. When I'm online shopping, instead of walking away, I close the browser. I just close the whole thing down, and then that way, if I decide later on to re-find that store and go back to my cart, or sometimes my cart's empty and I have to put the things back into it, then I'll know I actually wanted it. 90% of the time, I don't even go back to my cart. I think when you're buying things, instead of sort of looking at it and thinking only about the cost or maybe about the benefit of purchasing it, you also need to think, what is the impact going to be on my home? Like, where am I going to keep this item? Where will it live? Number one. And then number two, is it just clutter? Is it negatively impacting my home? So you kind of have to think past the initial purchase and the item itself and think to a year from now and think, where will this be in my home? Will I still like it? Is it something I truly need, or is this just gonna be another sweater in my collection of 30 sweaters? Try to sort of shift your mindset when you're thinking about purchases. I promise, once you do this, this will really make a big impact on how much is coming into your home and how much clutter you have, and it will really truly help you as you're on your way towards a more minimal lifestyle. So those are my tips today for some minimalism hacks and things that you can do today to get yourself going towards a more minimalistic lifestyle. I am doing them. I am implementing them. I still have way too much stuff in my home, but I am on a mission. I'm going to do it with you guys, so come along with me and let me know in the comments below if you are also starting out on this journey. Maybe you've been doing this for a while and you've got some tips for the community here. That would be amazing if you would put them down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and link a video here. Click on it. I will see you over there. Bye-bye.